That was a murder. You know what I'm saying? That was a spiritual murder, whether people know it or not.
Blige, who was a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling.
That was a murder, you know what I'm saying? That was a spiritual murder, people know what I'm not. Mary J. Blige, who was a victim of KES, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. And yet they have to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. So it looks like we finally have confirmation that Diddy and Jay-Z might have really planned Lee's death all along, because Mary J. Blige just shocked the hell out of all of us after an interview of her confessing to Aaliyah's death being a planned spiritual murder started going viral at the time. She first admitted this. Jay and Diddy worked overtime to get it taken down from the internet, and they pretty much threatened her into silence. But after Diddy's arrest, this interview came back up again, and things are not looking too good for them. There were already questions about Aaliyah's death, especially since they had to dot her up in order to put her on the plane anyway. But this revelation from Mary really confirmed everything. The crazy thing is that Mary was also a victim of Diddy, and she allegedly even had to terminate the pregnancy she had by him. So if anybody knows about the truth about Aaliyah's death, it's definitely her now. When it comes to Mary and Puffy's relationship, Mary was part of Diddy's infamous mentorship program, the Puffy Flavor Camp, and there were some rumors going around at the time that mentorship was not the only thing they had going on, because allegedly Diddy was blowing her back out on the low, and everybody knew about it. As if that wasn't bad enough, he also allegedly got her pregnant and then forced her to get rid of the pregnancy because he knew how messy things would have gotten when people found out he was cheating on Kim with Mary. One of the first people to spill the tea about this was Jaguar Wright, and according to her, not only did Diddy impregnate Mary, but he was also out here pimping her out during them freak-off parties, making her do all sorts of wild things in exchange for him to keep supporting her. Jaguar claims Mary was very much aware of the things that Diddy was doing to these girls, and that she was actually one of the people that Diddy used to force Cassie to freak off with against her. Well, Jaguar even went as far as describing Mary as the original Young Miami. Mary JBL got pimped too. She been around along. She the bottom. She the original Young Miami. That's why he always got a group. She got the three of them, Diddy and Mary and Kat. And Mary grabbing Cassie by the wrist as a girl woman ain't no child, you dragging her around. For Mary said, standing over Kale like, all right now get ready for this toy, look at the pictures, sing Diddy out. And Mary always grabbing on Cassie like she knew Cassie was sting the run. Maybe Mary JBL is just a co-conspirator. No, she know just about as well as anybody who was the father of that baby that Mario you talking about. Diddy baby, I was just going to say it, go tell it girl, cause they wrote it, told me to. Yeah, she said it, that's what they said. She the original Diddy. Did he make her get that? Sure he did. You know, he tried to kick it out. He got cheaper as he got rich. He tried to kick one out, the little Asian girl, the old girl, that Gina. He said the money, I'm just gonna kick this. And we know he can kick. But Mary's affiliations didn't just end with her allegedly helping Diddy pimp these girls out. She also witnessed Diddy and Jay-Z plan the death of Aaliyah. And she confidently sat in front of a camera and admitted it herself. Now, when it comes to Diddy, it's unclear what exactly his motive was for wanting Aaliyah dead, since she and him ain't have no kind of relationship. But Jay-Z, on the other hand, had multiple reasons for wanting her gone, and he recruited Diddy to help carry out that plan. It all went down in 2001 when Aaliyah was in the Bahamas. shooting a music video, but the thing is she had no business being in the Bahamas. In the first place, they had originally planned to film the music video in Florida. But just a day before it was supposed to be filmed, the music video director, Hype Williams, decided to change the location and fly everybody out to the Bahamas to film. They successfully filmed the video. But once it was time for them to fly back to the US, that's when shady stuff started happening. Aaliyah reportedly hit up her friend, Lenny Kravitz, to send his jet to pick her up. But Hype was against that idea and insisted that he already booked a flight for them to go back. She did not feel comfortable getting onto the plane that Hype brought, but they dredged her up and put her on that plane. While she was unconscious, not too long after they got inside, the plane crashed and Aaliyah tragically died a death that could have easily been avoided if they just listened to her and not put her on that plane. The shady thing is that Hype Williams himself conveniently didn't board that plane. And when people found out about this, they could not help but wonder why he didn't join her, almost as if he knew something was going to happen on that flight back home. What's even worse is that it was later revealed that the pilot was intoxicated and that he was not certified to fly the Cessna 402 bits and had been hired by a charter company a few days before the crash. The pilot had also been sentenced to probation for possession 2 weeks prior. It was also reported that the days leading up to the flight were filled with confusion and mistakes, including overweight cargo for her music video being delivered to the wrong Bohemian island, and multiple changes of which charter company would bring Aaliyah and her crew back to the U.S. When all this was revealed, there were only two names on people's mind as the potential K, and that was Diddy and Jay-Z, but especially Jay. You see, prior to Aaliyah's death, Jay wanted to get with her, but at the time she was in a relationship with Dame Dash, so she refused, and even outside of that relationship with Dame, she just ain't have no interest at all in dating Jay. And he did not take that well. His ego was her real bad by this, and he got to acting crazy now. After Aaliyah died, Dave stopped being friends with Jay-Z because Jay had the G to do a joint album with R. Kelly, even after it was revealed that R. Kelly had fake documents to get married to Aaliyah when she was just 15. P.S. the remix and Not Guilty, and doing that. And how those two singles came out, we always toss the idea back and forth, but it was just idea, like we do a whole album together. And we creative people, so creative people create. Dame also revealed that Jay used to invite Aaliyah over to his parties to try to seduce her, but she always felt unsafe and extremely uncomfortable around. JJ was trying to get at her as well. And I didn't know he was sending flowers and he was courting her, cause the rumor originally was that you were connected to Jay. Exactly. Jay and I were hanging out a lot. He's my homie. We have a lot of fun together. But we never dated. Now, like I said before, after Aaliyah died in a plane crash, it was rumored that her death was sacrificial and orchestrated by the higher-ups, including J.R. Kelly. And of course, Diddy. At the time it sounded a bit wild. But Mary J. Blige was not planning on letting Diddy and Jay get away with it, so she had done an interview a few days after Aaliyah's death and confirmed that it was indeed a planned. But according to Mary, this wasn't just a regularly planned murder, it was a spiritual one that was orchestrated to end Aaliyah's life way sooner and used her soul to boost the careers of some very powerful people. My Creole, we put the stee she gave everybody. We've been This is this, I don't even know what to say. I just know that was a what I'm saying, that was a spiritual, whether people know it or not, because God don't kill people. What I'm saying, whether people know it or not. And no, it could go deep, but a lot of people, I would have to really bring proof. What I'm saying, for what I learned. And she just was cut down in the prime of her life. And it's so unfair, and it wasn't time. You know what I'm saying, it wasn't, I believe it wasn't her time to go, because from what I know it ain't supposed to go down like that. And I'm just simple obedience, like your gut always won you. That's that your gut never lies to you. And something like luggage and clothes and jewelry and all this madness that we worship is called false idols. We need to really look at the bigger picture right now. And get this, y'all, Jaguar Wright also stepped into the chat and confirmed everything Mary said. However, she gave us even more details about what really went down and said it exactly how it is. Jaguar alleged that Aaliyah's death was planned by Diddy J, and that Jay was the one who told Hype to put Aaliyah on the plane, knowing very well she wasn't going to make it out alive. Jaguar claims the reason why Jay did this was because he was mad about Aaliyah choosing Dame Dash over him, and that he wanted her out of the way so Beyonce could thrive as a solo artist. Scene Carter is responsible for enacting Hip Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him. And so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling, let's just say allegedly, that happened. Now I want you to think about 106 in Park with Mary J. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter. Yeah, Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Chuck Coles, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other.